What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified anytime something comes up on the channel. Today's video, this is all about these guys here. And what these are rear trailing arm bushings for an E36, E46, and Z4 car. The reason why we chose to go with these from Syncro Design Works is the fact that they are spherical bearing bushings. And what that means is instead of the old rubber bushings that you get from factory that have a ton of deflection in them and movement and also wear out easily, these are a metal bushing with a bearing inside of it, so it allows it to actually move and pivot along an axial point, thus giving it longevity and also maintaining whatever alignment settings you have in the rear with minimal deflection, if any at all. So I'm going to go ahead and preface this video with a funny story and also a reason as to why I do not have the bushings in my hand. If you want to skip past this, I will create somehow one of those things where you can skip forward chapters or whatnot in the bottom if you hover over the timeline, whatever you want to do there. If you want to skip forward, cool. If not, stay and listen to this story because this may actually help you in the long run. So with this E36 this year in 2021, we've been doing all the clutch kickers events and we've been fighting the car a lot. And what I mean by that is we've put new coilovers on it, we've tried different toe settings in the rear, we've tried all of this stuff, minimal tire pressure, bigger tires, and the car seems to still have this thing where it doesn't want to drive forward or sideways under throttle. And I thought this was just something to do with the car itself, because I drove Connor's S14 in round 3 and it performed completely different. Under throttle, this car moved sideways and forward more than mine ever did. In mine, I kind of had in my mind said if you want to move forward or faster, forward or sideways, you're gonna have to let off throttle, let the tires catch some more grip, and use the throttle as kind of a get you into a zone kind of thing, which may be the case for these cars or may not. I don't know. That's how it's always been with this car, and I thought that it was completely normal. So after fighting all of these alignment changes and everything, we finally ended up with half-inch toe in the rear and took it to round 4. Car felt better than ever. We ended up going out in the top 16 to the number 2 guy in points. So I think we did pretty well in round 4, but here's the kicker. So we just got back from LS Fest this weekend, and before we left, it was Friday at like 10:30 where I was going to the shop. I got to the shop and we were about to load up, and Andrew Kate from Fast Tech comes flying out the door and he says, I need you to come here and look at this. Very quick and very important. Come look at this. So we run to the back of the shop. I didn't know, I thought the car had blown up or something was leaking, or something horrible had happened to where we're not gonna be able to go to LS Fest. He says, you remember how you always tell me that whenever you get on throttle, the car moves backwards? Well, I think I found your issue. So he grabs a pry bar, sticks it up in the trailing arm, and starts moving it. He also threw the pry bar down, got his hands around both sides of the wheel, and said, watch this. He moved it, said toe in, toe out. Toe in, toe out. So from the force of his hands, he was able to move the toe of the car. So we've been setting this alignment setup on this car multiple times over and over and over again because it was either out or we wanted to achieve more toe in. Just to find out that the rear trailing arm bushings were completely busted. There's no telling how long that they've been busted either, because I've had these trailing arms on it since the beginning of 2019 for our Pro-Am season. So, and the car's always felt that way. So I feel like this has been an issue since day one. I've just learned to adapt to it and drive the car like this. Really quick, we hustled as quick as we could so we could get on the road, and we changed out these rear trailing arm bushings in this car. And I can tell you just the feeling of how tight these new ones from Syncro Design Works are, I could tell that was the issue. Well, long story short, we just got back from Holly LS Fest, and that was for sure the issue, and we have achieved a higher speed in the car. We've achieved more grip in the car than we have ever had, and it is all because of these real trailing arm bushings. So if you are an E36 owner, E46, Z4, and you still have factory trailing arm bushings, I would advise checking those to make sure that they're not busted. If you're in the drifting scene, obviously it's gonna hurt you a lot more than if you're just regular driving. But regular driving, you're still gonna find if you have those busted, you're gonna probably hear them in the back, or whenever you get on acceleration, it might move a certain way, or under braking, it'll be a little wonky. Also, a lot of people decide to put these trailing arm bushings in their car if they've slammed it, and it ends up creating a toe issue in the rear. So this is kind of designed to fix it. However, this one is kind of designed more toward the drifting side because it puts a ton more toe in the car by adding this little spacer, which you'll see in the video. We were at a 1/2 inch toe in the rear, and that was maxed. This is giving us right at 3/4 of an inch of toe in the rear. So we've got max toe in until we can actually move those little buckets, which we may not need to do at this point because we're at a pretty good toe in setting, speaking to some of the pros. So with all of this said, we're gonna dive into the install video on these bushings, and I wanna give a huge shout out to Syncro Design Works for sending these to us, letting us try them, and just blow the socks off of the competition this past weekend. I couldn't be happier with the way that the car handled with these bushings. Much better than what I expected, and also I feel like this is going to be a great product, and it's probably going to last a lifetime of the car because of the way it's made. So enjoy this install video, and we'll see you in a little bit.
You gotta edit something. You gotta have something to do. All right, guys. So we've got Tyler's car here. We're doing a track inspection and trying to get ready for LS Fest. Kind of last minute. Raise the car up and notice that the bushings for the trailing arms were different from side to side, and they're adjustable within range here, but the actual bushing we found has failed and is allowing the toe to actively change as he's driving. So he had already ordered these really nice Syncro Design Works bushings. So these are a spherical bearing on top of an offset bushing. So when you install this in the arm, you immediately get more negative toe just by installing the bushing. So we actually don't need to change the buckets to achieve more negative toe. We can just change the bushing by design. It will allow us, looks like about 15 millimeters, maybe 20 millimeters of negative toe just by installing the bushing. So we're gonna try and do this very quickly. Since our bushing is already destroyed, I think it's gonna come apart pretty easy. We're gonna try and just take the center out of the bushing, take a little air saw, score the bushing, collapse it in on itself, push it out, and then use a ball joint press to press in the new one in the arm without removing really anything. We've taken, what, 3 bolts out so far? So we basically got the arm drop down. We're gonna take the bolt out of the center of the bushing, knock the center of the bushing out, drill the insert that's in the bushing, push the bushing out, and try and press our new ones in. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Would even adjust, so.
You got hammers up here, Mark?
Hey, Mark. Where's that piece that come out?
See how lucky we are here. I wonder if it just...
This isn't how we recommend doing this, just for the audience.
Get there, hammer. Blast it out. Ready? How's it taste? All right, so we got the old bushing out. I just took a die grinder, cleaned up the inside radius here so that our new bushing will slide in nice. Got all the burrs knocked down, stuff like that. So we will try and press in our new bushing now. How is she? Yeah, we're good here.
Still loose?
Yeah. Oh yeah, now it's going.
Yeah, it's moving now.
There we go. Get our through bolt in. Just like that.
Booyah!
Just like that. It's gonna sound funny in the car. There's one.
Alright, so that is going to do it for this video. Sorry if it was a bit short and a bit lacking on the descriptive side of how to install this. The thing is, we were in a very, very big rush to get to LS Fest to make it to practice and drivers meeting, so we actually didn't plan on putting these bushings in for this event. We were going to do it for the next event when we got back from LS Fest, but because we saw the problem, we wanted to go ahead and immediately fix that so that we could use that to our advantage over the weekend at LS Fest. So we went ahead and did it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below and the bell icon, as well as leave us some thumbs up if you got some value from this video, and we will see you guys on the next one. See ya!